So, without further ado, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce This is another in a series of live broadcasts enjoying the creative sounds of music and harmony. Hope you enjoy. Don't touch that dial. Keep it locked. Tuned in and turned on.
Welcome to the Talk Dirty To Me podcast with the Maestro. Not just numbers, not just stats. It's about what they mean. And now, your host, the Maestro.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Talk Dirty To Me with your boy, me. Had some fun times here at the end of the race to one. Nobody's using the extra jet, so SimWorld's been shooting me all over the place. Got a chance to check out a couple of runs on one day and even caught up with another run on the next day. So let's just chop it up a little bit about some players that stood out to me. And in Kentucky this past weekend, got a chance to see Taquan Fuller-Jones, 6'9", 206 pounds, 16 years old. Really like this player. And for those of you who don't know, might be new to checking out the Talk Dirty To Me podcast, and when I'm talking about recruits, I never look at your paperwork before. I never look at what is thought of you. I never look at what people think your strengths or weaknesses are. I just don't do that. I want to see it for myself. I make a quick judgment the first time I see you and write everything out as you get that feedback from me. And then I'll check you out some more over the course of time to see what's developing, what's growing, and what you're doing, because I think that's fair for both of us to give you a chance to settle into your game and see what's going on. And it helps me be more objective and more fair to you, hopefully helpful to you to help you work on your game. What I like about Taquan was, man, a quick move for a guy his size. Really, really liked the way that he was very decisive in his movement. His inside game, being 6'9", of course, really strong, really nice hands, really good to be quick to the ball. Now, with the ball, Taquan's a plus. He is very decisive, knows what he wants to do. I believe he is a better passer than what I saw, just because he made a couple of passes that I thought, as he made them in my head, I was making them too. He did it better, of course. Again, it's hard to tell in pickup games. It's hard to tell in runs. The chemistry's not quite totally there. There was one pass that he made that was on a breakaway that I think he threw it to the body of his teammate. Maybe he misjudged his teammate's speed. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but that was the only pass that stood out to me as I wish he could have pulled that one back. I say that because if he would have led his teammate, in which he might have been trying to do, it would have been an easy 2 for his team. There's no demerits. There's no marks against that particular one pass play. I'm going to count that up to a chemistry thing because so many of his other passes were so on point, and his awareness of space was so on point. It was really beautiful to see. He would pass the ball off. He'd move to the deepest part of the floor. He would not wait. He was very decisive. And we talked about this decision on leverage. I pass you the ball. We're near the top of the key. I'm getting out of there. Why? I don't want one man being able to defend two. And that's exactly what he did. If I were to put up a set of needs, and these are really small needs, but there's something that I believe will help him move forward, and he might already have this, I can't wait to watch him some more, is the footwork. A guy that size has to have good footwork, otherwise you're going to be left in the dust a lot. And with his athleticism, there is no reason for Taquan to be left in the dust anywhere. He's way too athletic for that. I like to see him rotate better on D and his off-ball defense work a little bit better. And here's what I mean when I say that. He was very good on ball pressure. He was very good being able to be in his man's face, being able to make sure his man had very few options, except for when he was defending off ball. He tended to still focus on the man, not look at the region, not position himself so it appeared he would have an equal look at the ball and his man, and watch the ball move so he can be quicker with his help side D. Now, with his athleticism, he was able to make up for that. He would just be so much quicker if he actually positioned himself in more of a less squared up way and more of a 3/4 way as he worked his off ball defense. But he was so smart on the floor. There was a breakaway in particular. Shot goes up. He gets the rebound, passes it quick to a man in front of him. His man was going down the middle of the floor. What did he do? He immediately flared out to the left rail, which means the left side of the floor as you're going down on offense, and rode that rail all the way down to the corner. Smart, smart, smart move. Why? It gave his man space. If his man would have had space to continue on to the rim, he could have. Then he could have followed up with the rebound, the follow through or whatnot. Anyway, he allowed that space to happen. That's a sign of a player who knows where to be. And he that was one time it really stuck out because it was so exaggerated. I went back to watch the run again, and I noticed on a couple other runs, he did the exact same thing. There was only one run where he appeared to stay in the middle. I realized why. The person he passed it to had not regularly handled the ball during the game. So he was more of a support, but he still did not crowd, still gave his guy room to move. Super, super nice to see. Very, very smart. And no question about his ranking where it is. Again, I say this a lot, but this is a player that is going to be nice to see where he ends up because there's a lot of teams that can use a player like that. Thank you for listening to this half of the Talk Dirty To Me podcast. Come back for the second half and we'll talk about how to make gold.
Thank you for listening to the Talk Dirty To Me podcast with the Maestro.
Want to get involved? Bring it. Drop in discord.gg/SimWorldNBA.
If you have the brain,
Join as a coach.
If you have the game,
Join as a player.
See the game, be the game. But now, back to Talk Dirty To Me with the Maestro.
Once again, for the soul, children, string section, y'all.
Let's get back to some wonderful sounds.
And welcome back to Talk Dirty To Me with your boy. So let's talk about making goal or moves, specifically with the ball. It's something I'm noticing more and more, not just in the pickup games, not just in the runs, but I'm seeing this happen in the game too. And I just feel the need to address this. Oftentimes, my old heads know I will say, do not have your mind made up when you get your hands on the ball, because sometimes you can do what? Move yourself into trouble. However, what I am seeing a lot of players do now more and more, and maybe this is just where the game is going, but it's so ineffective, and that is when they're bringing the ball up the floor or they get the ball at the top of the key, they pound the ball in the ground over and over again. And there appears to be no intention. They're not fanning a player through the offensive floor. They're not shifting anything. They're standing in one spot and they're just pounding the ball. Or they'll come in through the legs, behind the back, through the legs, behind the back, through the legs, behind the back. But they do it in one place, which is the same thing as just standing there and just pounding the ball, waiting, keyword there, waiting for something to happen. When you have the ball, you are the fulcrum of the offense. You are the tip of the spear. You're the one that's supposed to be making stuff happen. Therefore, you either get your team to move with intention or you move with intention to shift the defense to give your teammates an opportunity to move into place. But either way, for mixed sport metaphor coming, quarter in a jar, you are the quarterback. Be the quarterback. Call the play. Make the play happen, but do something. When you burn off, I've said this before, when you burn off more than 5 seconds on a shot clock by dribbling in one spot, do you realize how much time you have taken up from your team when you're in need of a basket? Now, if you are in the lead and you're in the process of counting the clock down, fine. If the offense allows you to do that, your man stays off you or your jersey stays off you and gives you an opportunity to do that, and they don't press up to start the 3-second clock. Fine. But for the most part, at the start of the game, 80% of the game, you need to move the ball into play with intention. It doesn't always mean a basket now, but it could mean a basket later. What does that mean? It means if I get a chance to shift the defense, move the defense, rock the defense forward, and I'm not just standing there pounding a hole in the floor, what I'm doing is the defense never knows what is coming next. If they don't know it, they can't plan for it. They cannot intuit it, if you want to use that word, which is really huge in basketball. I give my team an opportunity to be effective on that possession. And as we've seen over and over in SimWorld, every possession matters. How many games have we seen decided with a last second bucket? How many games have we seen decided with in the last 30 seconds? And you go back and you rewatch the game, and there are 2 or 3 possessions that, if would have been treated properly, could have ended up in either a stop or a bucket, and those last seconds would have meant something very different for the team that more often than not lost. Yes, you have to be athletic. Yes, you have to be quick. Yes, you have to be all those other things, but family, you've got to be smart. Understand that when the clock is moving, time is of the essence, and you need to be respectful of that to make it work for your team. So if you're bringing the ball up and you have the ball and you go back and watch yourself and you look at how many seconds you're wasting by standing in one spot, dribbling the ball, there's something you can work on to help move your game forward. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it was maybe something you could use. Thank you, everybody, for listening. As always, so appreciate you. Check out our other podcast offerings here in SimWorld Hoops. And a lot more is coming. A new season's coming up soon, man. If it's anything close to last season, there is not enough popcorn in the universe for me. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Enjoy, have some fun, holler at your boy, drop something in the tag, let me know what else you want to hear about. And if you ever see Liam Neeson at the mall, leave.
I mean, I didn't realize we were starting right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again for checking out the Talk Dirty To Me podcast with the Maestro. Drop a tag below and give us a piece of your mind.
So, see you next time and talk dirty to me.